Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our 7th show of Healthy Living with Marilyn.
Lucky 7.
Oh, yeah, and that's what Rob said when he was going to be on the show. You said 7, the lucky number.
Lucky.
You can't beat that. I want to welcome everybody to Healthy Living with Marilyn, and I want to introduce you to my wonderful co-host, Josie Hopkins, and she's a little bit further away because she's got flu in her family right now. We don't want to get sick. So how you doing, Josie?
I'm feeling pretty good tonight. I got my peppermint on, so if I start to feel anything and you see me go like that, I'm just decompressing.
That's right, and we all need to decompress. And I want to introduce you to our guest this evening, Mr. Rob Crampton. He is a licensed massage therapist, and he is also a therapist for myofascial release, which at first I thought it was just your face and your shoulders and stuff, but then he says, no, Marilyn, it's everything. Well, see, that's not my field. You know, my field is not massage. I'm a kinesiologist, but my field is not massage. So it was so nice to meet Rob again. When I dropped off the face of the earth a couple years ago, I hadn't seen anybody for a while because I was taking care of my then infant grandson, who's now 2.5. And so I finally reconnected with Rob because I wanted to have more men on the show.
That's
you
a
know,
good thing.
I've been having a lot of women on the show. I had one guy, Ed Peterson. Hi, Ed. I hope you're out there watching us. And, you know, I didn't have any men on the show. So it was like, okay, I got to have some other guys. And I thought, let's call Rob. So I called Rob and we reconnected, and he probably thought, what'd you think? Had I jumped off the face of the earth or something?
No. I was at a seminar, so I was sort of in that zone.
Oh, yeah. He was at a seminar in Bethany Beach. Now, that's...
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Going to the
Never
beach
been there before.
Yeah, really.
You hadn't been there? Oh, it's
beautiful.
beautiful.
Yeah, wow. Yeah.
I've not been to there, but I hear it's beautiful. I mean, that's one of my places on my bucket list. But,
Yeah.
I did go to the beach last Saturday with Judy.
I remember. I was thinking about that.
And it was cold.
Yeah.
And we went down to the ocean, and I said, Judy, this sand is just really freezing. And I didn't get my toes in this time. But I had been walking with flip-flops, and I realized, Marilyn, you can't walk with flip-flops now because my ankle started to get angry. So I had to re-tape my ankle. Yeah, so I'm back to taking the calcarea florica for my ankle. And I found out this week my MRI, not a good thing, but I'm fixing it.
That's
so
right.
I'm going to be taking a homeopathic remedy, and I'm going to incorporate Rob to help me out because I know how to fix my arm, but it's hard to do it myself. You know, reaching over here, it's kind of hard. I have rotator cuff tears, and when I got the MRI on Monday, I read it, and so we're just going to go from there. So we're going to be talking tonight about healing modalities, different ways to heal, and how you can repair your body from doing different things. And Josie here has this new gizmo that came out called a fidget spinner, and it really is supposed to help you not fidget anymore. Okay.
I'm not a big fidgeter, but I love this because it's purple, first of all.
Yeah.
But I had to get these for the grandchildren because they kept asking me for the spinner, and I didn't know what it was. And then when I went to get it, there was a line of people waiting to get the first ones that I got. And then yesterday they were delivered to Ollie's, so plug out, not necessarily for Ollie's, but when I got there were all these adults just crowded around this huge bin picking up spinners. But if you've got kids, you know what the spinner is. If you don't have kids, this is what the spinner is. And apparently it was, it's being promoted as a way to help children who have attention deficit disorder or ADHD, as a way to calm them and to help with their anxiety level. So this is a fidget spinner, and that's all it does.
That's all it does.
That's all it does is spin. But I think it just takes the focus off of constant movement,
right?
Because you've got to be still in order
for it to work.
Right.
Right. That's way cool. I think it's cool. You know, that's the first time I'd seen it in person too. So I might have to get one of those. Might have to give it to Jacob when he starts.
That's the thing now, yeah.
You know, sit on the thinking
In fact, I've
chair
got some
and do
coming.
your spinner.
I've got some more coming, so I'll get you two.
Okay. Okay. Well, Sammy doesn't need one.
Oh,
I
she's
might
too
need
little.
one. I might need one. So, but anyhow, the one thing I want to talk about today is how to take care of yourself when you're under stress. And I think it's really important because stress does very funky things
Yes.
to our bodies, right,
Yes,
Josie?
oh yeah, I'm a witness.
And yeah, it really does. It does really weird things to your body. And I'm sure that Rob can attest to that when he's had some of his patients come in and they're all tense and all uptight. Yeah, like that, really. And they think it's normal, and they think that, oh, this is the way life is supposed to be. Well, there's great ways to reduce your stress. And one of the ways that I like to do to reduce my stress, other than go to the beach, but I can't go to the beach every day because I don't live by the beach. I like to just sit and draw. And draw, just draw. And sometimes I'll get my paints out. I've gone to paint night several times with a friend of mine. Unfortunately, she moved to Hershey, Pennsylvania, so I don't see her anymore. But
I'll go with you.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
You're on. So I would go to paint night with her, and I said, Sarah, I can't paint. She says, oh, Marilyn, you can do this. You can do this. So I've got several paintings that, you know, are in my den and everything. And I have found that painting and drawing, you can find them in the grocery store too, those coloring books for adults.
Oh, yeah, I've got coloring books all over.
Yeah, get yourself one of those coloring books and sit down and just color. Or what I was doing this week, I've decided to rewrite a major portion of my book, start all over again. And I started writing it yesterday, and I was writing, and I was just writing words. And that really calmed me down too. So those are two things that help me. I mean, I have other things. I have a degree in vocal performance, so sometimes I'll just sing all over the house. And Jacob will say, Grandma, keep singing, you know. So sometimes it's kind of noisy for Zen, but he goes in another room.
I'm sure he loves it.
Now, do you stay within the lines?
Sometimes yes and sometimes no. Now, if I'm coloring with Jacob, sometimes yes and sometimes no. Because we're trying to teach him to color in the lines, but why do you have to color in the lines?
You don't.
You know?
Yeah.
Who says you have to color
Create
in
new lines.
Yeah, create new lines.
Yeah.
Create new lines.
Be the line.
Painting or coloring or going for a walk.
That's
now, I
mine.
can't really exercise that much because I got this rotator cuff issue. But yesterday I said to Jacob, okay, Jacob, we're going to exercise, and I'm just going to do crunches and sit-ups because I want to firm myself up because I don't want to lose my full face, really, but I want to firm my torso up. So what does he do? We go in the den, and he, by himself, goes and gets my yoga mat. Okay, 2.5. He says, okay, Grandma, we're going to exercise. So we roll out the yoga mat, and
Smart kid.
oh gosh, he's too smart. I'm telling you, he's hard to keep up with. And we unrolled the yoga mat, and we started doing sit-ups and stuff. And then I pushed the chair a little bit further away so I could put my legs up on. He says, Grandma, that's too far. You've got to pull the chair back so I can reach it. Because what I'm doing, he wants to do, and he's trying to emulate me. Yeah.
So you got to get him a kid-sized yoga mat with a kid-sized chair,
Right.
So that you can do the same things together.
Right. Well, I think my daughter said he has his own yoga mat.
Okay.
So I think that's pretty cool. But yeah, that's an idea. That's an idea. So we were doing exercise yesterday. Another thing I like to do is go out in the garden and plant. I don't have a garden right now, but planting and playing with my herbs. I do have a couple herbs on my shelf. I have a really nice wide windowsill, and I have some herbs on there, and I like to look at them and cut them back and harvest
What kind
them.
are you growing?
Right now, I'm growing thyme, sorrel, and lemon balm.
What's
And
the sorrel?
Sorrel, it's you can use it in salad. And it is also used, it's also one, if I got this right, it's one of the ingredients in SEACT.
Okay.
Okay? So SEACT is another story.
Yeah,
Yeah. So sorrel's a great one to have in your salad and stuff.
Okay.
You know,
I
and
wouldn't know it if I saw it.
okay, well,
I'll have to.
you'll see it soon.
Okay, cool.
So, you know, I like to work with my herbs, and I had a rosemary bush that was huge that I had for almost 2.5 years, and it dried up on me because I guess I forgot to water it or something. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all that rosemary and I'm going to harvest it. So I'll have all that rosemary that I'll be able to use it.
My girlfriend just loves to always latch onto a little bit of rosemary
Just to smell it.
Yeah.
I mean, it smells so good. And rosemary.
It's good for memory.
Yeah, and rosemary is one of those plants that helps you relax. One of those herbs that helps you relax.
a brain,
rosemary and lavender and valerian. They're all herbs that really are relaxing herbs. So, which that's another way to reduce stress.
Oh yeah.
Is get some herbs, or you can get some essential oils. Some of the essential oils.
Diffuse oils.
Diffusing
all throughout my
oils.
house. I've got oils on my porch by my rocking chair because I have a rocking chair in my screen and porch, and I go out there to relax. Sat out the other day with the rain. It was so beautiful.
Yeah.
You know.
I
just
like to look at the
fresh.
rain inside. I don't have a porch. Well, I have a porch out front, but it's not screened in. But unlike our friend over here, Rob, I'm not an outside person. And Rob likes to do things on the water, don't you?
I do. And that's a side job that used to be a full-time job back in college. Or during the summertime. Whitewater raft guiding.
Oh,
Whitewater rafting.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
a little fast for me, but I like it.
Yeah.
I think it's exciting.
I think it's exciting too. And you know, if you're adventurous, that's one way to maybe help reduce your stress. You know, it's
It could be stressful too.
it could
can
be
be.
stressful too, but that's one way.
Yeah.
Exercise is a good way to help reduce your stress. Just walking, but walking fast. Don't lollygag. You know, just sitting down and meditating.
Walking slow and just taking in nature is very calming. I'm not a fast walker, but I walk, and I just like to walk and meditate while I walk, and you know.
Well, I'm not a fast walker now either because
Yeah.
of my ankle. But if you want to exercise and get your endorphin levels
Okay.
going and get your oxygen going in your body, you got to make it worth your while.
If that's the goal.
Yeah, if that's their goal.
If I'm just wanting to be stress-free, I just want to lollygag and think and relax and breathe and.
Sometimes when I'm a fast walker at times, and sometimes I just like to walk fast. Really fast. My mom used to walk fast when we go shopping, and I say, "You going to a fire?" Because it was so hard to keep up with her, you know. But she's 88 years old now, and she's still going. She has a walker and a cane, but she's still going at 88. So I think that's I think that's
props
pretty
to her.
good.
There's
Yeah.
a labyrinth at the park where I walk, so I like that.
You know, just going out and smelling the roses, or go to the beach, or, you know, these are just simple things. I mean, I could go into a lot more in-depth things, but I'm just trying to give you all simple things that you can do to just relax. If you've got a pet, sometimes just sitting with your pet is a great way to relax. You know, sometimes when I'm just feeding the baby, feeding Sammy his bottle, that's a good way for me to relax. I have to do it. If I don't, he doesn't eat. So you might as well relax while you're doing it. And that's the way I look at it. So,
Laughter.
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 Laughter is
Laughter,
one of the
laughter.
best ways to reduce stress. I've told you before, my friend Judy and I mean, we laugh all the time. We laugh so hard sometimes my ribs hurt. My ribs hurt when we laugh so hard. And it's fun, and it feels so good. And laughter, when they say laughter is the best medicine, they're
It
not
is.
kidding.
It is.
They are not kidding. It really is. If you're under stress, go start laughing. If you can't find somebody to laugh with, turn a comedy on.
Yeah.
Or, you know, go
On
go to-
YouTube, there's
on
plenty of things to
YouTube.
laugh
yeah,
at.
anything like
Those
that.
funny animal videos.
Really, those are
Those
hilarious.
are hilarious.
Yeah, they are. So any way that you can find to relax, whatever is good for you. Mine, a lot of times, is knitting. I'm addicted to knitting. So when I can knit, and I haven't been knitting recently because of my arm. It's really hard for me to knit because of my arm right now. So I haven't been doing it that much recently because you really use muscles. When you use muscles that you haven't used for a while, you really realize how many muscles you're using when you do something. You know, I remember years ago when the kids were little and we went snow skiing.
Oh, I love skiing.
For the first time. And I used muscles I never ever thought I had. And I felt like I'd been run over by a truck.
The next day after, yeah.
Right. Oh, for the several days after.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized, oh my goodness, there are muscles there that I didn't even know. And I had taken a whole bunch of classes of anatomy and physiology, but it was like, that wasn't my body. That's
was
not
somebody
my body
else's.
that I'm looking at. That's somebody else's body. I don't have all those muscles. Well, yeah, you do. You know, but I was looking at it as on the medical standpoint, you know.
But if you don't use them, you lose them.
Oh, yeah, and if you don't use them, you lose them. So I'm trying to work my arm, like right here is pain. So, but I can lift. I can do this. So my tricep, that's my bicep, right? Yeah, my bicep is good. It's my deltoid over here that's compromised. And there's a lot you can't do when you don't have your deltoid. So, like push-ups, that's a no. Marty,
Like turning the wheel of a car too.
oh, driving, yeah, I
Yeah.
always have to use my left hand right now. It's been a little bit difficult. So I don't go out that much with the kids. Plus, it's too much of a hassle to take 2 kids with me. But anyhow, yeah, Marty Panetta said to me, "Well, do push-ups on your counter." It's like, I can't do push-ups on my counter because I can't do push-ups. So I'm learning to heal, but I have found, being a homeopath, and I've been a homeopath for 35 years. I have found homeopathic remedies are the way for me to go. I managed to fix my ankle. When I was at the doctor a couple weeks ago, the orthopedist doctor said, "Oh, well, we got a doctor for your ankle." It's like, I'm not worried about my ankle. I can fix my ankle. I want this fixed. I want to see what I can do to fix it myself. So,
So
you
the
know,
MRI told you what was going on. Now you know how to address it.
yes. And now I know that the homeopathic remedy that I've chosen and what I need to do to make it better and who I need to talk to, like Rob here. I'll probably have to go see Rob because of what he does. And
Can't wait to hear more about it.
yeah, me too. So I think that we're just going to go right into Rob and
Aren't you going to show us what these beautiful things are here?
I'm going to show, well, okay, let me show them.
Yeah.
My daughter from Mother's Day, my oldest, Tiffany, I don't know if she's watching now, but if you are, Tiffany, I love you. Thank you so much. I wanted to show what Tiffany did for me for Mother's Day. I love it when my kids make stuff for me for Mother's Day or for any holiday. Well, she made me these coasters because she knows how much I love coasters. And she made coasters of the kids.
I'll hold one. You hold the other.
Well, we had taken pictures of them, and she took the pictures and she put them on coasters and put gesso over them and put little things on the back, felt things on the back so I can use them. And I thought that they were so cute and such a great idea. And this is another way to keep your stress down because if you're doing something creative, as my mother used to say, be creative. I used to hate it when she said that. I really did. And because she used to turn the TV off, and that was before we had remotes. So she'd go up and she'd turn the TV off, she'd say, be creative. So we learned to be creative. And one of these things that my daughter did was these coasters, and I thought they were just so
beautiful.
Cute. So I didn't want to be, I didn't want to favor one child over the other. So I have one of Jacob and one of Sammy and then one of both of them. So I thought they were kind of cute.
Beautiful
Anyhow, that's my
eyes.
show and tell for the night. I just want to say thank you, Tiffany, for doing that. I really appreciate it. Love you guys and can't wait to see the boys tomorrow. So when I called Rob, because Rob is a massage therapist, and we haven't had a massage therapist on, have we? No, we haven't. So I wanted to get somebody on who can help with structure since I have a structural issue, my shoulder. And so, and I hadn't seen Rob for a couple years because, like I said, I've been MIA for a while, out of the holistic realm, but I'm getting back into it now. He graduated as a state licensed massage therapist. He's been a state licensed massage therapist since 2012. but he exclusively has been practicing the Barnes myofascial release since 2013 and helping people find pain relief and return to more ease and joy in their life. His interest and love of fascia is coupled with his desire to be a guide to every one of his clients' healing journey. And he's very spiritual. And he's been a resident of RVA since 1998. You're my daughter's age. And he was originally a college art student at VCU. So you have a degree in art?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yep.
And he's a big fan of yoga and various practice forms. Do you do hot yoga?
Not really.
No, that's not one of my favorite either.
No.
But you're frequently at Yoga Source, which Judy and I need. Judy, if you're there, we need to sign up for Yoga Source. And he loves the great outdoors, and since 2001, he's been playing on the James River as a whitewater raft guide, which I think is so cool. That is so physical.
At first.
At first?
When you start to learn to use the water and your guests more. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I got it.
They should be the steam power, not the
guide.
Yeah.
Right. So welcome, Rob. Welcome, Rob, to Healthy Living with Marilyn. I'm so glad that you could join us tonight.
Thank you.
I really.
Glad to be
So
here.
how did you get interested in your field?
From
art to massage to myofascial.
Actually, from yoga.
From yoga?
Yeah. Yoga, I felt I needed a better anatomy education to feel more humble with teaching because I took a teacher training. But I went down the route of massage therapy and sort of was introduced to this work during that time. It just sort of touched upon it.
Like you got a teaser?
Exactly. And kept it on my radar. About a year later, it came to Richmond, a specific Barnes class, and I was sold ever since. So it's just sort of funny. And yoga actually I gotten into in college, so it's just interesting how that all meandered out to.
Yeah. Really? So why is fascia such a big thing right now?
It's a buzzword in a lot of fitness and massage, or actually manual therapy realms. That could be like physical therapy, occupational therapy. It's a big buzzword just because, I don't know, connective tissue and a lot of connective tissue issues, and it's been a lot more aware for the interlinkings of like pain situations, pain syndromes. A lot of my folks that I work with, they just struggle with various types of, your general muscle soreness, to range of motion issues, to injuries or scar tissue issues, to even very complicated fibromyalgia, Lyme's disease. So that tends to be a very rough roundabout of folks I tend to see. It's interesting because it's so it's also known as connective tissue.
Okay.
And that word connective, I just like to emphasize that because it connects throughout your whole body. If you can imagine the idea of a spider web, but this spider web is like a whole bodysuit inside you. And it pulls and tugs just like you would pull on a spider web. It has sort of like this designed tension that works really well, but then when things start to kink up in that tension, then you start to see these dysfunctions in the web ability. But inside us, that could be issues with various parts of us, not just like a lot of folks know fascia from like a myofascial perspective, meaning muscle and fascia, but it's also intertwined with our nerves, our blood vessels, our bones, our muscles, of course. And it can even get even beyond that to some perspective of energy function and all that. It is liquid crystalline. That's one of its defining characteristics. And that to say energy workers, off-body workers, that's an interesting aspect I've been seeing some of them paying attention to from one angle with fascia. And I look at that in that sense that when it gets bound up, it gets sort of tangled up. To an extent, it's starting to solidify, it's starting to tighten up, it's starting to basically become immobile. And inside us, that is not so great, because if there's a nerve or a blood vessel entrapped in that, I'll digress and come back a little bit. Fascia's function, it has a couple of functions. It supports, it organizes, it protects, and it communicates. It's what I would actually say is more of the primary communication system in the body versus the nervous system. But like if you were to basically take everything else out of your body and just have your fascial suit, it would, in a sense, you'd be able to tell, oh, this is where this specific muscle goes to this organ, to this rib. It's basically, in a sense, a complete shape to your individual person. And then probably would be able to be a whole lot easier for me, because then I could just see where the issue is. So.
So there were two things that you said that really, really struck me when you talked about scar tissue. Because going through my stem cell transplant, and I have a lot of scar tissue from the portacath, and had told doctors for years that I thought that the pain that I experienced was related to the nerve damage from that. So that just sparked, a greater interest for me to learn more about that, and especially related to the scar tissue, because on that side is also where I experienced my my frozen shoulder.
Yeah.
And I know it's all connected.
Yeah. And it's the interesting thing is like where you see the, say, incision area, but underneath, sort of like an iceberg, it will twine out and sort of vine out. And I've had people where I've worked on one scar, let's just say it's shoulder, and they were feeling it, that pull from the scar tissue all the way down into their pelvis or up into their cranium, and when the scar tissue started to soften up more, they started to notice some of these other issues were chilling out in the same way as well. So it was just a overall interesting awareness of how much this tissue reaches throughout our body.
So when you do a treatment on somebody, is one of the things you tell them to make sure that they drink plenty of water later on, because you are releasing lactic acid and things, free radicals in their body, and you don't want those things floating around in the body.
Yeah. So when the fascia gets bound up, ideally it's fluid and it's very mobile and flexible, and glides off of itself in other parts of your body. But then if it gets traumatized for whatever the reason, inflammation, scar tissue, stress, it will start to solidify and cement, and it becomes basically almost immobile. And that could also be trying to get any type of water in, nutrients. Can't really get in through that. It's like a wall, all the way down to the cellular level. And so basically you're pouring water on stone. You could take all the supplements, all the good food, but to an extent there's parts of your body that still aren't receiving it. And vice versa. It also helps to get out the junk, the waste that your cells process, and get into the lymph and get into your livers to help be gone and goodbye. So there's a lot of potential metabolic waste that might be stuck in there. And that's always the potential, like, I guess you could say sort of the swamp. And then you have these symptoms, and then they start throwing drugs at you, or they say they're going to cut you in order to help that. But now you're just pouring poison into the swamp. And so after we have a session, we open up the system more, becomes a little more open, more fluid. Water is always a great factor in flushing that out. Sometimes with the work, there can be a little bit of like a detox, for the lack of a better word, metabolic flushing.
But you want to get it out anyhow. Even if it's in your colon, you want to get that out. When people say, when I've done treatment on people, Reiki or something, they say, well, I had a detox. It's like, well, you want to get it out. When people say that I've got a cold and I've got a runny nose, well, that's great. And they look at me, well, what do you mean that's great? Body. Because it's leaving your body. And when you do something, you do your manipulation with your technique, it helps it helps move the stuff out of the body. Now, what's this cute little toy over here that I just think is so cool?
Well, it's so I won't get too much into it, but one of the ways we talk about how this tension in our body holds itself is by a term called tensegrity. It's an engineering term. And now they're calling they're sort of adding to that too, biotensegrity. You don't really need to know the specifics, but mainly it's just the body sort of holds itself in a certain tension that's balanced. When that tension gets pulled apart or off balance, it starts to sort of tighten and cramp down. And again, as I was saying, like if there's nerves, blood vessels that are in between the connective tissue, it basically is like starting to put a kink in the hose or pulling your bones together, and then you start having arthritic issues or various things like that. So it's one way I like to sometimes educate my clients for seeing that. Again, this is not a body representation, but you sort of get the idea.
Yeah.
All the cords are basically holding the tension, and the stiff stuff could be organs, blood vessels, bones, and keeps them in that nice spaced environment. So
do you do lymphatic massage in your practice?
I don't. Actually, this can help lymphatic massage because lymphatic massage, you're getting that lymph out, and with that this helps to open up the space more, and then it becomes even more of an ease to
so
move
you get
things
the
through.
fluid going.
Yeah, again, the whole idea is if the space is still locked down, whatever is happening, trying to get it out or get things apart will only get so far unless you get the space put back to a good spot.
Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense.
And another thing is, people think that your bones hold up your body. Well, really, your muscles hold up your body.
I would even go further and say the fascia holds up the body.
The fascia holds up the body.
Yeah.
It's not your bones, okay? It's the muscles and the fascia that hold up your body. So be thankful for when you have your muscles that are working right. So work them, because if you don't use them, you lose them. And like what happened to Josie over here when she got frozen shoulder. Well, when I went to the ER a couple weeks ago, he says, you've got to use that arm, because if you don't, you might get frozen shoulder. Remember, I told you that. Remember, Josie?
Yeah.
And it's like, there is no way I am going to get frozen shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
I've
and
been
I've
working it out, working through it.
And it's hard in the beginning.
Well, I didn't know. I mean, because what happens when it's frozen, the pain, and you stop moving it even more.
Right.
So I've had to push past that, and you know, with massage and chiropractic and my oils and other things, you know, I'm pretty much back to normal.
Right. Well, I think
But I'm going to see Rob too.
I want to go see Rob. But the other thing that I want to do is I might go to an acupuncturist too. I have a friend who's an acupuncturist.
Yeah.
But I think I want to start with you first, because I don't want to do two healing modalities at the same time, because
Well, I was going to say, like, this tends to actually complement a lot
Does
of,
it?
yeah, like I've had folks that were doing acupuncture before they were seeing me, and then they came to see me, and then they noticed, like, again, it's this interesting space aspect, even energetic wise.
Right.
And it helped to get the energy through the meridians a whole lot. I can't personally speak to it. I haven't, but that was what I was hearing from my patients and some of the acupuncture folk that were working with them. They were noticing these differences. And
yeah, I just prefer to go do one thing at a time and then go do the acupuncture to open it up even more. I don't want to, you know, personally, I don't want to go do one day seeing Rob and then 2 days later going to acupuncture. You know, I think it's best to, my personal experience, my personal opinion. This is only my opinion. And I just feel...
You don't diagnose.
And I don't diagnose. This is my disclaimer. I don't diagnose, I don't treat, and I don't use that word C-U-R-E. Don't use it. We are giving you information that you can take with you, that you can use, you can look it up, you can Google it, whatever you want to do with it. But this is all information. We're not diagnosing, treating, or using that word.
Knowledge is power.
That's right. Knowledge is power. And let me tell you something. Knowledge is something nobody can ever take away from you. Once you got it, you got it.
Can't get enough of it either.
No, I'm like a sponge.
I love to learn.
I'm like a sponge.
That's why I'm here with you.
Huh? That's why you're
That's why
with me?
I'm here with you.
Thank you. Thank you. I try to teach. There's two things I try to do every day. I try to learn something new every day. Every day.
Yeah.
Because at my age, I got to keep my brain going. And the other thing I do is I try to touch the heart. I do. I touch the heart of one person every day. Try to make them smile. Try to make them happy. connect with them spiritually, however, and that's what I do every day. And normally I'm pretty good at it, So do something for you and do something for somebody else tomorrow or
Giver's
tonight.
gain.
That's right. So my next question, I want to just find out, tell us about the 3 pillars, the manual, unwinding, and the rebounding.
Yeah, it was about, okay, so part of when I introduced myself about the MFR work that I do, that's just the shorthand for myofascial release, MFR,
Right.
so you don't have to be like, myofascial.
Yeah, because I thought it was myofascial.
Yeah.
No, that's why I thought it was, from the shoulders up.
Yeah, so from here on out, we can just say MFR.
MFR.
Yeah, but I always like to say John Barnes MFR. MFR is sort of an umbrella term in the therapeutic body work realm. So a lot of people that do know about myofascial release, at least overall, they think of it as this very aggressive digging into your skin, sometimes maybe with lotion or a little lotion, sometimes without lotion. And it can be very aggressive, it can be very...
like Rolfing.
Yeah, like Rolfing, and not so agreeable with the body as far as how it might sort of start to tense and fight that.
Right.
So this tends to be a little bit more of an easier, gentler way of application, and that's one of the pillars of this work that defines it. It's the manual therapy part, which is basically just gentle pressure into the individual I'm working with. And I'm basically just pressing to a point of resistance and then holding it there, not trying to force. And that's the key thing, is you don't want to force. That's where those other therapies. And then I have to hold it there for a good length of time. So it doesn't look that exciting on the outside, but there could potentially be a whole lot of stuff going on underneath. And that's the other thing. So it's basically holding that hand position and maybe just that slight spread into the barrier of what I'm working with for a good 5 minutes or longer. Yeah, so it's not quick, which is another thing.
Right.
Like they're either pressing really hard or they're moving really quick, and you miss out on a couple things with that. The other 2 parts to the work, aside from the manual therapy, is the unwinding, which is, I'll speak to that in a moment, and then rebounding. Rebounding, if some folks from the massage realm are familiar with it, it's like Traeger work. It's basically this oscillatory jiggling. You use the body's internal fluid to help move things that might be stuck. And also could be a great way to assess, depending on if there's an area that's sort of locked up, because that area won't move so well versus the rest of the body that is loosey-goosey. So the unwinding, now that's a key thing that I think John, my mentor, likes to express is really missing.
Share
I was going to
that book?
say,
Yeah.
Michael, can you zero in?
Yeah, John F. Barnes, he's my mentor. This is his main book one of his main books that he talks about for myofascial release. So if you're really wanting to get a good handle of it from at least a word standpoint, this would be a good read. There's a couple others, also MFR therapists that talk a little bit in their 2 cents about myofascial release. Ronell Wood, Touching the Light, How to Free Your Fiber Optic Fascia. And Phil Tavolacci, another awesome therapist, What's in Your Web. And it sort of just gives these stories and accounts from their perspective and their clients' perspectives about how MFR has helped them, and also the interesting connections of fascia. So John, my mentor...
Did he write that book?
He did.
He did write that book. Okay.
John Barnes.
Hold that book up again.
I will. So he talks about unwinding, and I'll try and keep it brief here too, because it can be a can of worms. But it's essentially positions in space that plays into trauma, like a fall, a impact from a car. There's a certain part of us that will disassociate for our own protection. Our feeling intelligence will leave our body, and will basically, this moment of impact or this fall will disassociate.
Right.
Now, we don't fully process that, and we sort of lose this piece of us out there for a little while. Now, this has the ability to bring that back into folks, but you have to find these positions in space that might not look like they make any sense, but they, in a sense, do for the body's own healing. Like, that could be coming back into this position again, and you might feel that whole experience viscerally from a subconscious level. The fall
Like I did.
Yeah, and it's just essentially trapped energy that is stuck and needs to come out, and it needs that position almost like a key to unlock.
it.
Yeah.
So when
Roughly.
somebody leaves your office, have they ever told you that when they go home they sleep real good at night or anything like that? What are their side effects?
Oh, some of the side effects.
Yeah.
I tend to hear a lot of like, I feel lighter, I feel more spacious. I slept for the first time in a good while all the way through the night without waking up with my pain, waking me up normally. I can lift my arm higher than I've realized I could before. It doesn't feel like it's so locked up. Various things like that.
That's good.
Yeah, breathing, all that, because in a sense that's all just energy that's our body has to compromise against.
So how can somebody get in touch with you?
You can reach me at either my website, it's www.jamesrivermfr.massagetherapy.com. You could also find me on a myofascial release therapist website too. That's mfrtherapists.com. And that's sort of all John Barnes trained MFR therapists.
What's your phone number? Is there a way they can get you on the phone?
Yeah, 804-543-5261.
Say it again.
804-543-5261.
Yeah, so...
Where are you physically located?
Yeah, where are you located? You're located on Mayland, aren't you?
Yeah, just off of Mayland near Parham 64.
Okay.
Yeah, not far from where I live.
And the lady last week. Somebody
Lisa.
else did. Yeah.
Lisa.
Okay.
Well, actually, Lisa lives in Midlothian.
Okay. Someone else's office was over that way.
Debbie.
The week before.
Debbie.
Okay.
Debbie Troxel.
That's it.
Yeah, her office is not too far from there.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah. Her office is off of Quioccasin.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you are having pain, and or you have frozen shoulder, or you have rotator cuff, or you have ankle problems, or you just have pain that you can't explain, and your PCP or your orthopedic guy or whoever you're going to cannot help you, call Rob, because he will be able to open up spaces in your body where you will feel a whole lot better. Because when you do it right, rather than do it fast, because I've been to therapists before that have done it fast, and it's like, okay, what did I get out of this?
Yeah.
So
Or forced.
Yeah. I've been to massage therapists where when I left, I wouldn't go back because I felt like I'd been run over by a truck.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go to Rob because I need to get my shoulder rocking and rolling. And I'm not going to get frozen shoulder, and this is as far as I can go. But I can do this. I can lift Sammy. I can't lift Jacob, but I can lift Sammy. And it hurts a little bit, but if I keep my elbow close to my torso, I can do it better because I've got that edge, like that little crutch there.
Yeah.
But
you don't want to be like that forever, though.
No, I don't want to be like that forever.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to.
Thank you.
We're too young.
We're too young.
Yeah.
Yes, we're too young. So, I'm trying really hard to work my shoulder, but I don't want to get to the point where it might tear even worse. So that's my concern. So I know how to fix myself homeopathically, but I need Rob's help, So I'll be calling Rob. So if anybody has any issues with their pain or anything, and sometimes it's something that's happened to you long ago, and you can't explain it. He might be able to help you. So you might want to go over and give Rob a call. What's your phone number again, Rob?
804-543-5261.
Yeah, so give Rob a call. He's in the West End, off of Maylin, and not too far from Parham Road. So it's easy to get to his place. So, I've had people ask me about food. Okay.
Gotta have it.
Gotta
have it.
Yeah, you gotta have it. Even Jacob and I have been talking about protein, and he says, "Grandma, what does protein do?" I said, "Well, it gives you energy." But I was trying to explain to him at 2.5, you know, that we need food like a car needs gasoline.
Yeah.
Okay, because we need to fuel our bodies. But you have to learn to fuel your bodies with the proper food. Now, last week I mentioned that I gave up bread and sugar at the same time. And one of my daughters says, "Mom, you're nuts. How can you do that?" It's like I had to. Because bread with the carbs was making me tired. And I couldn't have a sandwich at lunchtime, and at 3 o'clock I'd hit blowout, and the kids are running all over and running circles around me. So I couldn't have that. So I gave up bread. Well, the sugar, and I love sugar, and sugar is very addictive. It's more addicting, they say, than cocaine.
Really?
Yeah. And it's really hard to get off of sugar. And it turns into yeast in your body, and the yeast feeds on it. So you have to be careful with that. Well, it was also giving me bad indigestion.
And cancer cells thrive on sugar.
And cancer cells thrive on sugar.
Yeah.
And we gain weight on sugar. And sugar is, you know, I love sugar, I really do, but I know what it was doing to me. And I was tired of waking up in the middle of the night with this burning sensation in my chest. And I knew it was indigestion. I knew what it was. And I get the gurgling in my stomach, and I don't like that. And I decided I'm giving up sugar. Well, I got to tell you, Josie, I've lost 5 pounds in the past week.
Yay!
5 pounds. And it was just giving up bread and sugar.
It works. Yeah.
It works, you know, and I exercised a little bit yesterday. You know, I did my crunchies with Jacob and everything. And I ran around trying to find Sammy part of the day today. So that kid, he's 7.5 months old, and he goes faster than...
He's got to catch up with his big brother.
Oh, I know. And, you know, but anyhow. So, it's just vitally important to watch what you're putting into your body. You know, don't eat the fried foods. The fried foods, you've got to digest the fried before you get to the food. So when we have these big dinners, you know, at Thanksgiving and Christmas, and people are falling asleep, it's because your digestive system is saying,
overworked.
You need to go to sleep because I need to work. And I'm tired of you need to go to sleep because I need to work. So I'm going to talk about this a little earlier than what I was planning on, but I was talking to a person today who watches my show every week. She watches every week. Her name is
probably there today.
So Tatiana Panetta, thank you for watching the show. She lives in Texas, and she was asking me about acidic and alkaline foods. And she was asking me about, is it better for your body to be acidic, or is it better for your body to be alkaline? Well, actually, Tatiana, it's better for your body to be alkaline, because when your body is acidic, you're more prone to viruses and more prone to being sick and more prone to inflammation. Inflammation is one of the big things right now. A lot of people are suffering from inflammation. That's why Rob's here. You know, he helps with the inflammation. He helps get rid of and dissipate the inflammation. Am I right? Yep, I'm right. Okay. So what you also need to do when you're going to see some type of a holistic healer, like a massage therapist or Reiki or a naturopath like myself, or a homeopath like myself, or herbologist or herbalist, you've got to really start working on what you're eating. And I don't like to use the word diet, because the first 3 letters in the word diet are die, and I am not going to die doing this. I have been on too many eating programs, short of getting my jaws clamped shut. I've been on them all. I've never gotten my jaws clamped shut. I've known people that have done it. Short of even getting one of those bariatric surgeries. I'm too small for that, believe it or not. But I've known other people who have gotten them, and I've known people who have gotten them and done the bariatric surgery, and then they start eating and they put all the weight back on.
Yeah.
And now they have scar tissue.
Yeah.
And now they have scar tissue.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I'm thinking, if you go through all that, why do you want to gain the weight back? But anyhow, other than that, and their bodies were probably very acidic. So Tatiana wanted me to touch a little bit on acidic bodies versus alkaline bodies. Now, there is a book out there called Alkalize or Die. I've read that book. I don't remember who the author is, but it's a book you might want to look up. I don't know if it's still in print. But if you're Googling alkalizing an acidic body, you want to make sure that you're eating 80% alkaline foods and 20% acidic foods. Now, what are alkaline foods? They're fruits and vegetables, and basically fresh fruits and vegetables, or you can steam them. Like, I can't eat raw broccoli. I can't eat it because I got a gallbladder problem. Two of my sisters and my mom had their gallbladder out, and everybody says, oh, Marilyn, you're going to have your gallbladder out. It's hereditary. Well, I wasn't buying that. But I've done some research on it, and having a degree in vocal performance, I realized when I sing, I'm constantly massaging my organs by using my diaphragm. And because of that, that's why I haven't had to have my gallbladder out. Well, a couple months ago, I had an ultrasound, and it turned out I have one stone. It's not that big. But so I'm trying to regulate my whole body with what I'm eating. And there is a therapy I can use to get rid of the stone, which I'll talk about someday, or maybe I'll talk about it in a workshop. I've used it before. Because at my age, you do make stones. Just because you got rid of some at one time doesn't mean that they're not going to come back. And
how do you know if you have one?
Well, I had an ultrasound.
But otherwise?
You would probably have a reaction, like a gallbladder attack or something. Especially if you eat like donuts or something that's
Krispy
been
Kreme.
fried. Anything
Krispy
fried.
Kreme.
See, I've never been to a Krispy Kreme. I've never had a Krispy Kreme donut. And I don't remember the last time I had a donut, to be honest with you. But, watch what you eat. Eat more fresh fruits and vegetables, and eat 80% of fresh fruits and vegetables and 20% of your proteins, because the proteins are the acidic and the fruits and vegetables are the alkaline. And make sure that you're drinking plenty of water, and watch the water that you drink.
I would think that sometimes people think fruits are acidic because, and they are until they're digested in the body,
Right.
because initially they are acidic. But when you eat them, the body...
Yeah, you're talking about citrus fruits and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
But
people
they become
think,
alkaline when they're digested in the body.
right, but people think that apple cider vinegar, yeah, it's an acid, but when you put it in your body, it
Yeah.
alkalizes your body. So, and I've talked about apple cider vinegar before. There are a lot of ways apple cider vinegar can help make you feel better. I've used it for a cold, when I got that cold a couple months ago. I'm also using it to feel better and to assimilate my food better, to help my digestion. So I'm getting back to trying to drink some right before I eat, because it helps alkalize your body, especially if you're going to eat a lot of protein or something. Like you're going out to have a pizza. Every so often I like a pizza. I mean, I don't have it as a regular diet, but every so often.
Yeah, I love pizza. That's one of my
I like
weaknesses.
to eat a pizza. No, mine is bread. My downfall is bread. I could
But
eat
pizza,
bread.
that's bread.
I could eat bread.
That's all dough.
No, I could eat bread till the sun go down. I could. So it's hard for me sometimes when I go into Fresh Market and I got that bread section in the back and it smells so good. Last week I had Sammy with me. I really must have looked kind of funny. I did look funny. I had my purse in my arm and one of those green baskets, and I was pushing him with my body because I was feeding him with a bottle to keep him quiet. I really looked, I was like a contortionist. And I was going through the bread section and it smelled so good, and I just kept on going, no bread, no bread, no bread. So that's what I did. So when you stick with the basics, you will find that you're feeling a whole lot better. Like I said, I've lost 5 pounds this week. And I haven't been able to lose 5 pounds in a week, and I don't know how long, because I was hanging on to the bread and the sugar, And what I did, I found some of these candies that I had, and I put them on my husband's desk. I don't care what he does with them. I don't care if he eats them, throws them out or whatever, but I don't want to see them again, And that was hard for me, because some of them were really kind of cool to have around. But like they were chocolate covered blueberries or something.
Ooh.
Yeah, the dark chocolate. Yeah, I know.
When you say
but
chocolate, it's
yeah, dark chocolate.
Yeah.
They were dark chocolate, and it's like, okay, I'm just gonna put them on his desk, and I told him, I don't care what you do with them, but I don't want to see them again. So, you know, and that's a start for me. Plus, I've been wearing my Fitbit. Yes, Tiffany, I've got my Fitbit going. I've been wearing my Fitbit.
Okay.
I still don't know how to get the exercise thing going, and the food thing on my, I'll just figure it out.
There's got to be a YouTube tutorial.
Yeah,
on it.
I know, I know.
You know.
My son, I hope
YouTube for
Donnie's.
everything.
That's my go-to for everything. If I don't know it, YouTube it.
He calls it YouTube University.
Yeah.
It's like, so Donnie, if you're watching, I'm going to go to YouTube University to look at my Fitbit. So, and I hope you and Anna are doing okay. My son lives out in California. So, but in order to keep your body functioning at its peak, you must make sure that all the processes involved aren't overloaded with toxins. So make sure that you're doing your dry brushing in the morning with your dry brush to get your lymph nodes going, because we don't have a pump for our lymph glands. We have a pump for our heart and our blood, but we don't have, our heart is the pumping for our blood, but we don't have a pump for our lymph glands. So make sure that you're dry brushing in the morning, and because it really helps. It really helps get rid of some of the exfoliant, the epithelials, the dry epithelials, which is skin on your body and everything. So, you know, sometimes we eat foods the wrong way. So, you know, they say don't eat melon with anything else. Well, I eat melon with some. Yeah, I eat melon with some things. And
Really?
I've never had. Yeah, I don't know who said that, but
Yeah, I've never heard that.
yeah,
But
I've
I
heard
did
it.
hear that you should eat your fruits and salads before a meal.
Right. Oh, I always
Because
eat
it
my
opens up
fruit.
your digestive.
Right. Now, some people eat their salads after a meal, and I've heard that too. But I like to get my salad over first.
Yeah.
So
Just do it. Just eat a
just
salad.
do it.
Yeah.
And I wanted to say something. My daughter, my youngest, and I just don't have 2 grandboys. I have 3 grandboys, but I don't see him all the time. My youngest and I went out on Tuesday, and Isaac is he's not my youngest, he's my middle grandson, but I don't watch him.
Right.
And Christy is my youngest daughter, and they live over in the north side. And we went out to a new place, and I want to talk about this new place. And I've got 2 that I have to talk about. One is Freshie, Freshii.
Okay.
Freshie is a new restaurant that is open. It's over in Willow Lawn, across the street from Panera Bread.
Yeah, you were telling me about that.
Yeah, and it is awesome. The best salad I ever had. He's only been open for 6 weeks. If you get a chance to go, please go.
Freshie.
Tell him that Healthy Living with Marilyn sent you there, okay? And I want to talk about Debbie Troxel. She's one of our partners, one of our partnership with Healthy Living with Marilyn. She does the ion cleansing, and she does the thermography. So if you want to get in touch with her, give her a call at, I don't have her phone number here.
It's got to be somewhere.
Oh, 804-683-7774. It's 804-683-7774. She's with Elite Physicians. And those are the 2 things I really wanted to talk about. I want to talk about the Foot Ionic Cleanse, which is awesome. I'm going on Monday. It's really helped me detox a whole lot. So that's the other thing that I do. And I'm going to go see Rob because I need to get this taken care of. And if anybody has any questions, please don't hesitate to call. Marty Panetta, if you're out there in Thailand, I know it's 9 o'clock in the morning there, but I hope you're doing well. And I hope you and Jerry are having a great day. Good morning, Marty. Good morning, all my friends in Thailand and over in Asia. And Allison Smith, if you're over and watching from Bali, I hope you're having a great morning. So, you know, it's tomorrow morning for them.
Yeah.
It's totally tomorrow morning. So, and it's going to be morning for us in the morning, so I hope everybody has a great evening and have a great time this weekend. Happy Memorial Day. And we got this, and change your life today.
Happy Memorial Day weekend.
Happy Memorial Day.
Enjoy the sun.